being a boss. You can't say that unless
I went to their website and I was blown away by some of the facts that I found on the website. One was Eureka. It's actually she was the first and only African American female officer in the city of Falls Church Police Department.
Wow, that's a wow. You go, girl.
I'm honored to be on your show today and to be able to share my story. I don't take it lightly at all, and I.
Okay. I'm gonna start off by putting out. I'm not good at stuff. I'm not good at talking about me. I can talk about a whole bunch of other stuff.
I know. I was about to say, let them think their phone, their screen froze.
Live. Oh my God.
Yes, we're live.
We're live, guys. We're live.
We're waiting for everybody to get on. I'm gonna say it's Angie and Rennee.
It's Angie and Rennee, but not Renee.
It is Angie and Rennee. Oh my gosh. It's Angie and Rennee, but we have a special guest, LaShawna.
Hey. I'm so used to being quiet.
I know.
I was like, do I speak or do I not?
hey Facebook,
Hey Instagram.
hey Facebook.
Hey, Facebook, it's Angie and Rennee.
You are not Rennee. Even during this time, God, we pray for favor because we know that you are able to do it. And He was with him. He pushed him in a stroller while he was running. He had him in a boat while he was swimming.
Amazing. They let me feel comfortable in speaking, and I'm so grateful for this platform.
Hey Facebook.
Hey, Facebook, it's Angie
And Rennee.
We're here to talk about it.
Yes.
I know, Rennee. I crack up every time I see it too.
Yes.
I'm like, man, we done went through some
transformations.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Help me. Help
Oh my gosh. So, who do we have tonight, Angie? Who's our guest?
We have Empress Lanice, and she is here to just share some wonderful news with us. Some things that we really don't talk about in our community. But, just to bring some awareness and just to educate, because, that's what it's all about. Each one teach one.
Yes.
So,
do you have our wow factor?
No, it's not my wow factor day.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I did it last week.
You did? No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Well, the wow factor is I don't have one.
Okay. We're going to go straight to Empress. Tell us who you are.
Hi, ladies. Hi, Angie. Hi, Rennee. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for having me on your show. And I love that intro. It's so beautiful. I love to see the transitions and just the different stages that you guys had in this journey. So, and congratulations for keeping it going too.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So yes, I'm Empress Lanice, and I am, you know what, that I need a tagline for myself because I do many things, but I am a publicist, and I have a a magazine. I have a production company. So I do many things. I wear many hats. I'm also a songwriter. Whatever it is that I decide to do, that's what I do. But mainly people do know me for as a publicist because I've been doing that for the past 10 years.
All right. Okay, Miss Publicist. And listen, can you do this for me and tell for those who don't know what a publicist is? What do they do?
You know, in a short version of that, what we do is to help our clients get featured in the media, right? So we bridge the gap between the media and the public. And there's so many different layers within that, but we just pretty much help tell our clients their story, getting the public to know who they are and whether if they want to buy into what they're offering. So that's the short version of that.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
So,
Okay. I agree with you.
yeah.
Tell us, I was on Instagram and a thing popped up for live, and I clicked on the live and I saw Empress. And I love the fact that you were transparent and you were open. And you said that you had a magazine, but you decided to stop. I'll let you tell the rest.
Yes. So first I'll say this. I started with the L Spot Productions. That's my first baby before and with that I did PR and media at the same time. So I had TV shows, I had the blogging content covering media events, and then I transitioned over to doing the magazine. So in 2018 I had the L Spot magazine. And that was really for entertainers talking about the different those in music and art, whatever it is that they did in business. I was telling their story. And in 2018, it was something that I wanted to do. I've always been interested in magazines and writing. That was actually the start. Writing was the start for the L Spot. And when I stopped doing it is because I got overwhelmed. So with it, it was pretty much myself and the photographer, and we had, a few people that would come in to work with us. But I realized how much work it was for me to design it, to write the content, schedule the interview, schedule the photo shoots, like do pretty much every aspect of a magazine. And that was my first magazine. And with that, I started to get overwhelmed because life started to happen, or life is always happening, but like things were starting to show up. And I'm just like, okay, there's too much going on and I don't have the energy anymore to keep it going. And then also I was in a phase of figuring out what direction I wanted to go with my career, because the magazine was actually doing pretty good. I was actually making some profit, not a large amount, but it was making money. But it was just that I didn't have the energy anymore to keep it going because I was just being drained with all the outside factors that were happening. So now fast forwarding, a lot of growth has happened, a lot of wisdom, and now I'm launching a brand new magazine because I kind of felt, I want to say the word is tainted but the way that the L Spot magazine was, I kind of felt like that was an old me. And even though I wanted to relaunch it back as the L Spot magazine, I said, this is no longer me. This is no longer, the concept is still the same, but it's just that I guess the brand that I created for the L Spot, that was no longer who I am. So with that, I decided to change it over to E-Power magazine. And E-Power came about from one of my friends. His name is Arnstar. He's actually an artist. You may have seen him in a lot of shows or movies. Why can't I think of the name right now? But he's the one that gave me E-Power. And it stood with me for a while. And I was like, I want to do something with E-Power, but I just didn't know what. And in the back of my mind, and I believe I was still doing the L Spot magazine at this time. And in the back of my mind, I was like, a magazine, a magazine, a magazine. I'm like, you're already doing a magazine right now. Like, why do you want to do a whole nother one? Right. And I kind of sat with that for the past 2-3 years now, because we're in 2021. And it was still in the back of my head. E-Power magazine, still there. And here we are today with launching E-Power magazine at the end of September.
Hey, All right. That's right.
Yes.
Eat power.
Yes.
Yes. I love it.
Yes.
I absolutely love it. So, okay. So you said something very interesting, and where I think some people, you said that when you had branded the L spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you grew and you were like, that's not me anymore. How hard was it to kind of like make the transition? Because sometimes we know that, in business, when you try to rebrand, it's not always, it's not always easy and or successful.
Right. Actually, it was very hard, which is probably why it took so long for ePower to come out, because I'm like, okay, everybody knows me as the L spot. I
Right.
had the L spot. I mean, I still have it. The L spot still exists. The L spot is technically birthing ePower magazine.
Okay.
Um, but instead of me calling it the L spot magazine, it's ePower magazine. But with the transition is that it because I was known as that, it was really tough for me to make that decision, because it's like I'm starting something brand new.
Right.
And I didn't want to lose the audience that I had
Hmm.
because of making that change. So that is also why I decided to do it where the L Spot is presenting ePower Magazine, but
Got it.
making ePower Magazine as a whole separate entity, or brand, I should say. And I was
Hmm.
actually having conversations with a few people about that too, because I was, like I said, I was torn. I was very torn about
Right.
it. And I was going to actually put ePower Magazine under the L Spot website.
Hmm.
And a lot of people said, no, I think you should create this as a whole separate brand.
Hmm.
And, and I agreed with that, but I was just fighting the idea of separating the two. But ePower Magazine has a whole new feel to what the L Spot has done. And I love my baby, the L Spot, all that we've done, the L Spot show, the L Spot magazine, covering different events. But it's more mature now, and I felt like ePower magazine will represent that, because it's like powerful, where I've always been an advocate for entrepreneurs or anyone that is pursuing a dream. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm like, the core mission is still the same, but I just had to give it a whole new look. And just even starting with announcing about ePower magazine, the energy is different, the connections are different, like
Right.
it's so different. And I feel like it's even greater than what I've done in the past, because I started the L Spot when I was like 20, I think 23, 22, 23. I'm 32 now.
Okay.
I'm not the same person.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, so it was most definitely difficult of making that decision, because I've always been known, like people still call me the L Spot, and I have to be like, no, it's ePower or Empress Lanice now. So it's most definitely an interesting journey, but I'm actually happy that I made that change.
Okay.
I love it. I do. Um, it makes sense. You were in a different place. Now you're in a new place, so you're birthing something new.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. And the fact that you weren't afraid to step out and do that, it says a lot. It says a whole lot.
Hmm.
So you also mentioned that you're a publicist. If someone is interested in signing with you, what can you bring to the table? What do you offer to them that they say, well, I can do it myself? What can you offer them?
Absolutely. Well, with anyone who says they can do it themselves, they must have a lot of time. Now, I know what it feels like to try to manage everything, which is what I explained with, creating the magazine. I was
Hmm.
doing all the different roles. So what I'll say is that I save you time, because with PR, it takes a lot of research, it takes a lot of connection building, and then of course, like thinking of how we can make you stand out. And
Right.
sometimes you need other other people to see things that you don't see. So
Right.
you can do it yourself,
Right.
but you can't see yourself. Like I say to myself, like, I need a publicist. Like I can do some of the basics, but I still need somebody that can see me that the way I don't see myself. Um,
Wow.
so I would say that with me, you'll most definitely get somebody that is dedicated, who put a lot of time and energy into your brand. Because sometimes I go above and beyond of in a sense of making sure that your business structure is right. And I did this with music artists too. I used to manage music artists as well as do PR for them. So I really look at everything as a whole because for me, I'm like, yeah, I can just focus on media placements, but if everything else is not right, it kind of defeats the point of me doing my PR efforts. So let's
Right.
say if you don't have a website, yeah, we have social media, you have your social media platform, but what if Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that shuts down? What do you have left? So all those media placements that I got you that's promoting all your social media handles, if it all goes away, nobody can find you.
Right.
So that's where I ended up adding website design to my services because a lot of times there were people that didn't have a website designer or they had some type of issue with a website designer. So I'm like, no, we need to get all of these parts together. So that's why I'm like, I go a little above and beyond. Now I do try to stay in my lane
Right.
because it's a lot of energy and time.
Right.
This is why in 2018, I was in the phase of deciding if I even wanted to continue to do PR too.
Wow.
I'm actually now getting back into doing PR because I am truly dedicated to seeing people's success. That sometimes I could be doing too much and not discern that sometimes people may not be ready or may not understand what they're about to step into.
Right.
And even how it works, because with PR, it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Like if a lot of people think like, yeah, I'm going to be famous tomorrow. Nope, it's not going to work like that. It can happen. It,
Right.
it can happen,
Right.
but that's not how it works all the time.
Right. I love that. I never looked at it in the aspect of having your publicist is able to see something that you can.
I love
And
that.
yeah, I think that that is very important because a lot of times people will downplay themselves, and they're like, oh, well, it's only this or it's only that, or why do I need a publicist because it's only this? And when you're saying, okay, well, your publicist can see so much better because you're looking from the outside and with a wider lens.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that really that hit home. Yeah, that
Yeah.
resonated deep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I need one too, because
Right.
I sometimes downplay myself, like, nobody's gonna like this. Nobody's gonna like E-Power magazine.
Right.
Like,
Right.
how do I pitch myself? And it's so interesting because, sometimes see hairstylists where the hair is not done, but they do a bomb, like, hairdo on somebody
Yes.
else. It's
Very
different when you got
true.
to do it for yourself.
Very true. And
Yeah.
and I think because it's hard for some people. I'm not gonna say everybody, but and I'll speak for myself. I'll just say me. It's hard for me to kind of like sell myself because then I'm feeling like kind of braggy,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do this and I do that and I do this and I hear so many eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like it's hard for me to share exactly what it is that I do, and then I'm like, but I do that, but nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna know.
Yeah. Nobody's
Nobody's
gonna know.
yeah. So yeah, that's cool.
Yes. And I do offer tips and advice for if you did want to do it, do want to do it yourself. I mean, it's possible. Like I still have to do my own PR until I find somebody that I would like to do it for me. And what I have been practicing of saying when I'm pitching my business or even my magazine, I say we, right?
Yes.
Even if
Okay.
it was just me, like we do this, we do that. I've always had that language of saying we from the beginning so that it feels like it's more than me. And technically it is, even if it's not somebody that's staffed with me. A lot of
Right.
times I do pull from others to support me in doing things. So I think if we're gonna do your own PR or your own anything pitching, you can say, we offer this type of service, we can do X, Y, and Z, we help the community do blase blase, and it makes it sound like bigger.
Okay. Did
That
y'all
was
hear
free.
that?
That was free.
That was free, y'all. Now, see, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Now, just imagine
Yes.
she publishes, and she gave that away for free.
Yes.
So we are going to start using that.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Yes.
So what are some of the placements that you have gotten for people being their publicists?
Yeah, so I'll most definitely pull from when I was in entertainment and music, because like I said, I'm now getting back into PR, but for small businesses. So when I was doing it for entertainment, I got placement for BET. I got placement for Power 105, The Source, Caribbean Life newspaper, Brooklyn paper. What else? I also got a lot of small local media outlets as well. I always tell people, here's another tip: don't leave out the small or the just starting, I'll say the just starting platforms, because it does help you get your name out there, because you never know who's watching or who's reading. And then also you it helps you with building your online presence. So if let's say if it's an article on a small platform, somebody is Googling you, that will still pop up. It may not be the biggest platform, but it still shows up. And that actually happened to me. I was featured in a newspaper, and The Source actually picked me up. And I was just like, I thought it was fake. I was like, nah, this is not it. I'm like looking up the writers and everything. I'm like, oh no. But I responded. They didn't ask for no fee, because if they start asking for money, then it's fake. And
there you go.
And they actually featured me on The Source. And I thought that was pretty dope. So I always tell people to never neglect the small ones, because even another client got featured on allhiphop.com as well. I'm trying to remember all those. It was like a lot of the hip hop, platforms, the big ones that I got my clients featured in. But yeah, I'll just say those were some of the main platforms. But I was most definitely excited about the BET and the Power 105 one, because those are like the major hits, we could call that.
Right. All right now. She's doing big things.
Yes,
yeah.
Popping up in here.
That's like a new friend over here.
Yes.
Yes, Blossom. I love it.
Yes. So let's talk about this magazine.
Yes.
I want to talk about this magazine.
Yes. And guys, I have to step away for a minute. I apologize. Angie, keep going, please.
Okay. Yeah, so I want to talk about this magazine. So E-Power.
Yes.
Okay. So we know you got the name from one of your friends kind of gave you the number. Is it Empress? Is it Empress Power because there's a lot of power?
Yeah, so he did, because he was featured on my TV show. And he actually gave everybody in the crew a nickname. And mine was E-Power. So he pretty much did it based on our name. So he didn't know my government name, so he knew me as Empress. So he said E-Power. And I really like that a lot. But what I'll say for the magazine, and what I also love about my name is that Empress is, ruler of empires.
Yeah.
So it still works, but the focus is on entrepreneur. So if you want to look at it as entrepreneur power, or Empress or Emperor power, that can work too. But yes, it did stem from my name, Empress. And it's really highlighting entrepreneur's journey, because we all have a story. We all have experiences. And there's a lot of things that people don't know that entrepreneurs go through, small business owners go through. And we often just see like the glam of the story, right?
Yeah.
The final product of the story, but we never see what steps got us there. What were we feeling? What were we going through? What were we thinking? Why did we go this way instead of that way? Like, I want to highlight those things to also show other entrepreneurs who are new to know, like, your journey is going to be different, and there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all, because it's whatever God has planned for you, actually.
Amen. Yes.
But just know to embrace the journey, embrace the process. And because a lot of times we're told to follow or copy somebody else, right? And
Yes.
sometimes it could work and sometimes it may not.
That's
And
right.
if you're noticing that it's not working for you, then you just got to get clear that there is a set path for you, that you just got to be your authentic self. And I wanted to show the different stories of these
Okay.
entrepreneurs and what their path is like, and even learn something from them, because we still can learn something, whether what to do and what not to do, especially when it comes to business, like the actual business aspect of like, for instance, a lot of business owners don't know that when you form your LLC, you need to have an operating agreement. And that
Okay.
operating agreement is pretty much laying out who are all the members of the LLC, what is
Right.
everybody role, how much you're investing into it, what's going to happen if you guys exit the business, like how it's going to be divvied up. And there's like a lot of steps. And even if you're by yourself as a solo LLC, you still
Yes.
need to have an operating agreement, because that shows proof this is what's going to happen. And I know when I open up a bank account, they ask to see my operating agreement. So
Right.
there's like little, details that people may not know, that you may learn from somebody else's story based on, like, oh, I wish I knew how to do this. Or even knowing, like, hey, it may be okay to have a 9 to 5 and run a business as well. So like, hearing those stories, you either I would hope for people to feel that it's okay of whatever path that they're on. And because a lot of people feel like, or at least I'll say for myself, when I first started, my thing was, I can't work a job and do this. I was doing it, but it was like,
Right.
it has to be one or the other.
Right.
And I've been back and forth, like working part-time or full-time and still building my business. Now I'm fully an entrepreneur. Thank God. God has allowed me to do that. Um, and it's been great. But, there's nothing wrong if you are still working a 9 to 5 and building a business. Just for me, because I guess the way that my brain works, or the way that I am, I'm just like, I like the jobs I had,
Right.
but I don't like to be restricted
Yeah.
in time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
like, where if they wanted me to do overtime or do an extra day, like that was the restriction for me. Like, if you let me do what I came in to do and then be out, I'm cool. I could rock with you.
Right.
But it started to get to the point where I'm like at the job all the time and not having time to put in effort in my own business.
Right.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
definitely a blessing to be able to work for yourself full time and not have to balance the two, because it is a lot. And sometimes your business, your vision, it does suffer, or you tend to wear yourself out
Right.
very easy.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I'll say this. So it's most definitely a blessing to not have to work for anybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important thing, and I had to learn this within this past year, is to never stop moving and talking about your business. Do
Right.
not get comfortable. Because, like, my story for 2020 is like, oh my gosh, for the first time I made 6 figures from my business alone.
Wow.
Great.
So,
Okay. Congratulations,
yeah.
Thank you. But now 2021,
There you
now
go.
2021, I'm still on track to make 6 figures. However, it wasn't as easy as it was in 2020, because
Right.
now a lot of things have shifted from what I was doing in 2020, and that now I'm like, oh, the hustle is it's different now.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I'm like, you always have to talk about your business, have coaches with you as well. Because one of my coaches, they were like, you gotta keep, like, how many invitations are you making about your business, right? How many requests are you making? And I'm like, I don't need to make any, because a lot of them are coming in, bop, bop, bop. I'm like, I don't want to like overwhelm myself. Here comes 2021. Business started slowing down, and I'm like,
I should have made those invites.
and I most definitely started doing it, and my
Right.
business, is back in order, but that happens. And
Right.
it's actually exciting to be able to experience it, because it shows a whole nother side of me.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the one thing that I learned is to never ever get comfortable, and that's what I want to share in this magazine, is that to not get comfortable, to always try to be innovative and seeing what ways you can continuously stay in a market. And I would say that COVID-19 has shown us where if you're not already ahead or within the trend, your business can die. So like a lot of brick and mortars had to close.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially like the brand name companies.
Yeah.
A lot of them had to close their stores down because of COVID.
Right. Right.
But for those who were already, internet savvy, had their website up and all this other stuff, like, into technology, they were able to thrive and make it work.
Yeah.
So it's like, you want to always make sure that you are either ahead of what's going on. So like my goal is to pay attention to what's happening in the world. What's the latest technology that's coming out? Because we're technically in the fourth industrial revolution, which is where we have all this technology where our phones can, read our eyes to unlock, or we can use our thumbs, our biometrics, what it's called. That's the fourth industrial revolution. Before that was the third, where it was like the computers were just coming out, the cell phones and all that stuff. But technology is always advancing, and we want to make sure that we're staying ahead and not getting comfortable to the old ways. So like eventually we got to figure out how to start working those laptops thingies where you're touching the sky, right? Like the air.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called, but like we're going there.
Yeah.
We're most definitely going there, and we want to be able to be ready to know how to use it for where, if there is another breakdown like the one that we had, our business do not lose.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Learn how to shift with the times.
Wow.
Wow.
And I'll say also keep the old too, but it's like have a balance, because there's times where the internet may go out. Like I remember working in retail, and let's say our cash machine wasn't working anymore. We had to go back to the calculators, or calculating in your head and inputting. So like it doesn't mean to get rid of it, but to also stay ahead too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. To add on. So to be a student always.
Pretty much.
A lifetime student, always learning.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say, we definitely, when we first start our businesses, like we have all this passion and we're just like, and we're screaming it all over the place. And we're like, this is so brand new and it's nice and shiny. And so, you do have people who will come on board because you're so excited about it. And then it's, those two things when you say don't get comfortable. One is, getting too comfortable because you're like, okay, all the money is coming in. And like you said, I don't have to send out those invites. When you're like, no, you have to keep doing what was working for you.
Yeah.
So don't stop that.
Yeah.
Add on to that. And then sometimes also like we get too comfortable and we're just like, not so shiny anymore. Like, it's okay. So yeah, I love that. We have to make sure to not that.
So we have a question. What would you tell your younger self when she was in doubt?
That's a good question, actually.
I know.
Um, I would tell myself, my younger self, to trust yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to most definitely trust yourself and keep going, and don't let naysayers to have you pretty much question your moves,
Mm,
because that was happening a lot to me, which I realized that I started to get in a space of confusion.
mm,
Because when I started my business, I was that passionate, excited girl,
Yes.
and anything I wanted to happen, I made it happen. Didn't know how, but I did it.
yeah.
Right.
And it took me a while. Like, I'm finally now getting back into that space again of anything I want to make happen, it can happen, and just go do it. Don't be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And don't let anyone else's doubt get in the way. Of
Yeah.
course, there's wisdom that you may get, but
Right.
if you truly believe in yourself and what you can accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
go for it. So that is what I would tell my younger self, because I probably would be a lot more ahead
Yeah.
right now
Right.
if I didn't get into that phase of self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Renee, what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self to pray about every decision that you make. Don't make any emotional decisions, because
There
I
you go.
realized back
Yeah.
then I made a lot of decisions off of emotions.
Yes.
And emotions, we know they're up and down.
Yes.
So that's my biggest thing. Make sure you pray first. Make sure you write your vision, because it's one
Yes.
thing to start and then you're trying to write. No, know where you're going before you start.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah.
It is good.
Angie.
Yeah. I would tell my younger self, you are enough. You
Mm,
are enough. Um, Greatness is in you, and don't allow other people's limitations to limit you.
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So Empress, where can people find you?
Yes. Okay. So first and foremost, you can follow me on Instagram, Empress Lanice PR Agency. I actually had got hacked on my personal account, so
No.
I had to use my business account, and I was like, you know what? Let me just merge the two. So that's where you can find me, at Empress Lanice PR Agency. You can also follow the magazine, ePower Magazine, at ePower Magazine. But if you want to do business, you can go to elpragency.net, and you can go to the contact, and you can schedule a consultation with me to discuss what your business needs are. And yeah, those are the different ways. So you can go to my website, elpragency.net, or follow me on Instagram at I'm about to say ePower. You can do that, ePower Magazine, or Empress Lanice PR Agency. Send me a DM and we can chat from there.
All right. And that's how people can get a feature in the magazine as well.
Yeah, so you can email info@epowermagazine.com, or you can go to the IG and just click on the link that's there to send in your request to be featured, and we will, review it and see if we want to take you, feature you on the platform.
All right.
So it's info@epowermagazine.com.
Yes.
Yes.
And I do want to mention that we have a story that's going to be featured in our very first issue, our October issue that will come out at the end of September. We're going to have Rennee featured in the magazine.
Go, girl.
Yes,
So
I'm excited to share her story. And I will also let you guys know that the magazine is going to be in 3 different formats, or 4. It'll be in print and digital for the magazine. And then we'll also have, well, I guess I can give y'all a little teaser what's about to happen.
Okay.
So it will be on a TV network.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um, and I'll announce it once everything is finalized.
Yeah.
And we'll also have it as a podcast. I wanted to capture all the different senses. So those who like to read, you can read it. If you want to touch the magazine, you could get the print version. If you want to listen, you can listen to the podcast. And if you want to watch us, see us talk, see how we look, all of that stuff,
Hey.
you can watch it on TV. And we'll also probably have clips on YouTube as well.
I love it. That's what I'm talking about. She said we covering everything. Not everything, everything.
Everything.
Everything. I love that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Because that's true. Because some people, they say, okay, it's digital now. But some people actually like the feel and to turn the pages into, so that's good.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
So can you pre-order the magazine, or you have to wait to if you want a hard copy?
So what's going to happen is it is going to be print on demand. I am using a third party.
Okay.
And the third party, once it goes live, you can purchase the magazine. I have to double check because it's the same platform that I use for the L Spot, but I think I can do pre-orders. I just don't think I did it for the L Spot at the time. Okay. But for now, I will say that once the magazine comes out, you'll be able to order it. But that's why we're releasing it a week ahead so that you're not behind by the time you get it.
All right. And that is September.
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. These dates just be going by so fast. September 24th. So it'll always be on the last Friday of the month of when the next issue will come out.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The last Friday of every month. First one, September 24th. And our very own Rennee is going to be there. I'm excited. I can't wait to see it.
I'm excited too. And it's an honor to be in the first magazine. So
yes. All right, now she's breaking barriers, girl. I love it. Empress, it has been such an just a joy to have you here. I know things are going to be absolutely just great for you because you're here to be able to pour into others. Some people, they get it all and they keep it all, but I see that you pour into others. So we appreciate that. And thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it's on YouTube and Facebook, and it'll be on IG probably sometime this week. So please share. Anyone who's interested in getting in touch with Empress, you can find her right here. We also tagged you on our IG page as well, and I think our Facebook page. So go find her.
Yay! Get that magazine.
Yes. So thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, we always end the show with a inspiring moment or Angie moment, and today we have an inspiring moment by
my inspiring moment, I actually posted it this morning, but my inspiring moment is to make sure you lay your foundation right. There's this thing going around, it's not how you start, but it's how you finish. And I'm learning later in life that it does matter how you start.
Yes.
The worst thing in the world to do is to build this $1 million house and you found out your foundation has a crack in it.
Yes.
Basically, you spent all this time building, and now you have to go back down and start at the beginning with the foundation. You've wasted time, you've wasted money, you've wasted stuff that you just cannot get back.
That's right.
So my inspiring moment today is, remember, it does matter how you start, and it does matter how you continue. So just make sure what you're doing, that you've actually prayed and you know that your foundation is right.
Come on now, firm foundation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Empress.
Yes. So exciting.
Yes, go follow, go like E-Power Magazine. And thank you again.
Oh, yes. And we will have we're going to have some pictures of it going on.
Yes.
Come out so we can remind people, go get it.
Yes. We will definitely promote. Yes. So thank you again. And solid as a rock, LaShawn.
Yes.
Yes.
That's going to make me sing that song.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Well, have a good night, Facebook, YouTube. Have a good night.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next week.
Yes, we will.
All right. Good night.